So I just finished talking about the clay pieces and how the digging in the clay is mindful or makes me think of writing, discovery, digging things up out of the earth, finding things, and then developing this linear abstraction that is true with all the other pieces in this show. The palette here, you can see, even though it's very different media, relates to the palette of this earlier painting. And in some ways, the lines suggest similar aspects to the line exploration that I've been working on for the last 5-6 years. And this one in particular has to do with journey, with map, with remembrance. In fact, Aegean memories. We had just traveled with close friends to Greece when this piece was done. And the color and the sections, the map-like quality, at least for me, produced those same kind of memories. So one kind of writing over here, using line, another kind of writing over here, using line, and then this piece over here refers to another sub-theme that is part of this exhibition, which is lines that relate to the images that come to me from the classics. This drawing is titled Alyosha's Passage, and as you might guess, relates to Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov, classic Russian literature. And I did this piece after reading the book, the novel, with a group of individuals. And this, which is the best way to read classics. It's also the best way to read Bible because you have somebody guiding you through it. And Richard Baker, who is the individual who was conducting this class, led us all through this fantastic novel. And for me, this image is the mire of human difficulties that each of the brothers had to wade through. And if you are familiar with the novel, Alyosha is one of those characters. And he was one of my favorite, even though you could make a good claim that he wasn't the hero, the actual hero of the novel. I think he was. So anyway, going through this space starts to suggest that the lines are not sitting on the surface, but there's an opening, there's a passage going through. I've talked about titling and how I try to find titles that are not going to imprison the viewer into only one way of thinking about it. And in fact, Richard Baker read Alyosha's Passage as referring directly to a passage of Alyosha speaking in the novel. Great. Lots of different ways to interpret what you're seeing. And if you can see, there is a poem over here. At the end of this group reading, Richard challenged members of the group if they could distill this entire novel into a poem, let's say a haiku poem. Well, I couldn't do 5, 7, 5, 1 metered haiku. I had to do 5 unmetered, which is another way to do haiku poems. And I accepted the challenge, and I'm not going to read it for you, but it's an encapsulation of a very large novel.